Welcome back to Rip City Rundown Podcast. This is episode 8, and will be about the Game 2 breakdown. Looking forward to Game 3, a little bit of an around the league recap, and then a little segment we like to do, start, bench, cut. So that's up on the pod today. But it was the Blazers last night splitting after they lost Game 2 on the road to Denver, 1-1. Initial thoughts, first reactions?
Similar to the start of Game 1, just Denver was so much more physical, hustle. Seeing Game 1, we turned that around. Didn't really turn that around. Game 2 just kind of stayed steady the whole time. Was just down 10 to 15 points the whole game. So not the best performance. We'll get into the specifics later. But before we start, Blazer fans have just got to chill.
Yes.
We have split.
Fantastic
1-1
point.
We have home court.
Yes.
Got to chill.
And this was me last night. As I was watching the game, you get very frustrated in the playoffs. Everyone is amplified. Everyone gets, it feels in your face when you play bad, and you're upset. But you just have to remember, yes, Denver and, probably the national media and everyone is going to be overreacting, saying, can the Blazers now win this series? And it's like, guys and girls, we have split. We are 1-1. We did what we needed to do. I know it didn't look good last night. But guess what? Denver could have beat us by 40. They could have beat us by 1. They only won one game. It is 1-1. All we need to do is protect home court, and we will be moving on to the second round. So, with that being said, hopefully everyone can just slow down. We're still fine. Let's talk about the positives from last night. Let's talk about Dame. That second quarter had to be, that was insane. It was insane.
He had to have at least six threes in the second quarter. Into the first half with 8 threes.
He was 32 at the half, right?
Tying playoff record.
My gosh.
Vince Carter for most threes and a half. And I think if this game was closer and Denver didn't make adjustments to really slow down Dame, I think Dame could break that playoff record of 11. But, you got to give him credit. We were down, as much as 20 in the first half, and we cut it to 4 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't able to close it out at the end of the first half. But
that first half finish by the Nuggets was so crucial. That Jokic 3 as time expired, put him back up 12. We were in that 9 to 15 point range for the entire game.
We would make our runs, cut it to, like you said, a 9 or 7, and then boom, Denver goes on there.
But Dame showed us something that even, we haven't seen much from him. He just took over. And the Nuggets, that's going to be there for him in this series, I feel like. The Nuggets are not going to aggressively trap for long stretches with Jokic. Now, in the second half, putting Aaron Gordon on Dame, that was a good adjustment. Now, we know that Michael Malone is a good adjuster when it comes to that. He's good to make adjustments. Now, we did see that Aaron Gordon was like, Coach, put me on Dame. So maybe it was Aaron Gordon's idea, but nonetheless, good move. I think Dame also just got tired after literally carrying the entire offensive load for the Blazers. But Aaron Gordon on Dame is something the Nuggets might try to explore a little bit.
Yeah, if I'm the Nuggets, I'm doing that unless you really need Aaron Gordon to do something offensively.
Mm-hmm.
You're spending his energy on defense to stop Dame because if he could have slowed down Dame, because I feel like Dame was still blowing by him in the second half, at least for the third quarter, just a couple bad bounces here or there on bounce passes or something Butterfingers from Simons or Cantor. Dame would have ended up with 15 assists if shots going down.
I think Aaron Gordon on Dame is definitely something. I don't think it's going to be effective for long, but I think in short stretches, kind of throw Dame off his rhythm. It's definitely a thing that the Nuggets can go to. Let's just run through the starting 5 for the Blazers quick, just kind of initial reactions to their game. So CJ McCollum goes 9 of 12 from the field, 2 of 3 for 21 points. Probably the most efficient, terrible night you could have. He finishes minus 23 in the box score.
I think a lot of people are looking at that because he did have 5 turnovers, 5 fouls.
That's big. That's big.
But CJ didn't play bad. Another just solid CJ night, but
it was the turnovers.
More than 12 shots. If you're 9 for 12, keep shooting. But
we're gonna need game 7 CJ to pull up for one of these games soon. He's gonna need to get back on it. Norman Powell has been struggling from this series. 5 for 9 is still decent. He has I think is he yet to make a 3 in the series?
He hit one in game 1,
but he is the release valve, because when they're going to trap Dame hard, they're not going to let CJ try to. CJ's a great ISO player, but for efficient baskets, it's gonna have to be Norman Powell.
Yeah, he had his moments throughout the game, his drive to the basket, being physical down low was good to see, but I mean, he only ended with 3 fouls, but I think he got 3 early first half fouls, if I'm not mistaken, because that's why Derrick Jones Jr. came in the game later in the second quarter. But, I mean, he just kind of looked a little out of rhythm shooting-wise. Really, the thing is, you want him to help more other than scoring because, I mean, he ends with 0 rebounds, 0 assists. So he was kind of just out there
logging
looking
minutes.
To score the ball, but really didn't score the ball.
A couple blocks, which is good. Rocco with 3 points, hit 1 3. I mean, he's not going to be the guy. He's going to probably get the least amount of shots in that starting 5. He's known for his team defense and just for, his solid offensive acumen. But 4 turnovers from Rocco is not going to cut it either. I don't know. He had a very Rocco game. I mean, I don't judge Rocco by how many points he scores. I really don't. I probably judge it by, how well of defense he's playing. And if he's getting spot-up look threes, you got to knock half of them down. And he did that. Yeah,
I mean, I think Rocco had 2 just bad calls, foul-wise on him. He had a couple, good strips. And we can wait on this, or do you want to talk about the refs right now?
We can. We just had Nurkic left. Let's talk about Nurkic.
National media is not on him.
Yeah. So this morning, kind of national TV going around. You know how ESPN likes to do it. They really like to overreact to every game. So the Bucks are up 2-0 on the Heat. Therefore, the Bucks will sweep the Heat. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But ESPN likes to really. But they were getting on Nurkic today, and to be honest, I agree with them. Nurkic is a very good player. He has the talent. But in order for us to win this series at the way we want to win it, he is going to have to be, we need Nurk fever. We're going to need it. He has to play more physical against Jokic. And I know that a couple of those calls are not ideal. That's just how it went last night. I mean, Nurk saw 13 rebounds, but 7 points, 2 of 8, that's just is not going to cut it.
And Nurk, a key thing about him is he's actually a really good playmaker as a 5. And only have 1 assist is not the best. I mean, looking at this whole team, Damian Lillard had 10 assists. Other than Dame, we had 5 assists as a team.
The ball movement last night was terrible. There wasn't a single assist from the bench. I'm sorry. Simons had 1 assist.
But, I mean, he only played 10 minutes because he got smacked in the chin, no foul. But that's for another time.
Yeah, well, let's go for it now. Let's talk about the refs, right? I'm not going to use the refs as an excuse from last night.
It was bad both ways.
It was bad both ways. They didn't allow Denver to probably blow us out because other than Dame, we played horrible last night. But it didn't let the Blazers get back in the game. No momentum. The third quarter might have been the most unwatchable stuff I've seen in a while. And I think it all culminated in that C.J. McCollum flagrant foul, which had to be – that was a horrific call. Horrific.
I mean, Campazzo was just doing Campazzo things, trying to get under his skin. C.J. has his positioning on the block for an inbound play. And then Campazzo just gets up in his face and moves CJ off the block. So CJ's like, okay, I'm going to move you back. I'm going to get back to where I was. Campazzo falls to the ground. Right into Jokic's leg, which is just kind of scary if I'm the Nuggets because you don't really want someone falling into your star player's leg for no reason. But refs just being soft. And that's also after another flagrant foul from Melo.
From Melo, where it's just a shove.
If you want to call it a foul,
it's playoff basketball.
Is
you
Melo
have
really moving Jokic that much? No.
The Nuggets really embellished last night. The Nuggets, we took the Nuggets' best punch last night. We took their best punch. They played fantastic. The refs were terrible both ways, but the huge calls those favored Denver every time. And that part of that is being home court. Part of that is just sometimes that's how it goes. I guess I don't want to make excuses. But losing by 19 on the road, Nuggets really had everything going right for them. I mean, the Nuggets backcourt, they're shooting in the first quarter. Rivers starts 2 for 2. Campazzo drains a couple. And you got MPJ started hitting threes. Now, you knew that was going to happen. But I don't know. It was going to be tough to win last night. It's tough to go on the road to start a series and go 2-0, which is why, again, people need to calm down. 1-1 is good. But the Nuggets really had a lot going for them last night from their own team and the refs.
Yeah, the refs made their presence early with the whole MPJ shoving Nurkic, Tibbetts getting into it. I like to see that.
I love that.
I really like Tibbetts, but refs just, I think it was 52 fouls on the night, 48 free throws. I could be wrong. I could check right now. Yeah, 48 free throws, 52 fouls, and then 4 techs, 2 flagrants, and 3 techs on the Blazers. 2
whistle happy. It was really rough because the refs. I'm not going to say Dame was going to claw Portland back in it somehow, but Dame, and Aaron Gordon contributes to this too because he played good defense on Dame in the second half. But Dame he had a chance to have a special game, and the refs never let either team get into the flow of the game. It was whistle every 30 seconds. It was bad. It was really bad.
Whistles when there were or when there weren't fouls, and no whistles when there is fouls.
Because they're trying to make up call. They lost control of the game early.
No rhythm for them.
So that's fine. Hopefully the refs next game will be a little better. Let's talk about turnovers for the Blazers. So we know during the regular season, the Blazers were the best team in the league at taking care of the ball. Fewest turnovers per game. Their turnover percentage was very, very low, very good. But they have 21 turnovers last night, which is abnormally high, and it was a huge contributing factor to this loss.
If you just look at the pure shooting stats on the night, we hit 16 threes, they hit 12. We hit 23 free throws, they hit 24. They were able to take 13 more shots than us and end up hitting 11 more. A lot of that's because of turnovers.
It's second opportunities.
We even had more rebounds than them. They had I don't know what the stats for this is, but I know they had so many more fast break points. At one point in the third quarter, it was 16-0 in fast break points, and that's just because they get those turnovers and get out on a run, and we don't really get back on defense.
Yeah, and it stems from a defensive perspective for the Blazers. The Blazers are not going to be a good defensive team. We know this. They're going to win by their offense. And by offensively, they didn't play horrible. Shot 48% from the field, 48.5% from three. That's not bad at all. But when you give Denver more shots than you, they have chances to miss. They have more of a you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they're gonna hit shots when you give them their shots.
Yeah,
you give them 10
but when you give them more opportunities, they have more leeway.
Yeah.
They have more room of error. Margin of error is what I'm trying to say. That's margin of error. Yeah. Margin of error. Got it. Okay. But the Nuggets bench. Let's talk about the Nuggets bench. Paul Millsap, 15.
Yeah.
5 of 8. JaMychal Green, 2 of 6. Both field goals he made were offensive rebounds and putbacks that kept a run going. I will say, the call that really sent it for me with the refereeing, and I really don't want to sound like a homer. I know this is a Blazer podcast, and we're all Blazer fans, but Nurkic's 5th, where Paul Millsap got 3 free throws. He slides to his right and almost takes a charge. That's not your shooting motion. I'm surprised Terry didn't challenge. He challenged the other one, which was the charge.
Get into Terry. Terry had a couple things last night that probably.
I do understand you don't want to challenge in that early. You want to save it, but when it's Nurk and your backup defensive big is Cantor. No shade to Cantor, but he's just not a good defender. It's
turnstile defense.
Turnstile defense. When you go to the airport or a ball game, when you go to a baseball game and you get to you go through the turnstiles. That is Cantor allowing you to go in. He just opens up the hips, allows you right by.
Yeah, but
that's Blazers defense.
Let's talk about stats.
We can. Yeah, okay, we can talk about stats. We'll talk about stats. So Michael Malone makes his adjustments. He puts Gordon on Dame in the second half. He tells him to play more physical, more physicality, more embellishment. It's playoff basketball. You take advantage of how the refs are calling it. And the Nuggets did that brilliantly last night. The question is, how will Terry respond? Because it's interesting because this team. There's the Blazers have two teams. They have the team from last night and the team from game 1. Game 1 is ball movement. People, we didn't even shoot that much better in game 1, but it's the ball movement. It's the more defense. Nurkic looks more engaged, and then there's this version where it's all ISO and hero ball. And I think part of the game flow called for that. Dame was I need to get these boys back in the game. I think that's part of it. But it'd be very interesting to see what Terry will do adjustment-wise. You got any suggestions for Terry? Because I know he watches this, listens to this.
Before I go in what we should adjust for Game 3, because we can just get a full Game 3 preview in a second.
Yeah.
Terry's adjustments, just some of Terry's decisions in game, what did Jokic have 14 first quarter points? And I know it's part of our game plan, and I praised it the first game was let Jokic score. But it can't be let Jokic score and let the others score.
Yeah, the problem is I get the let Jokic score, but 15 for 20 is too efficient. You got to play a little better defense than that. If he goes 10 for 20, fine.
If you look at his interview at the end of the first quarter, Terry was just Jokic's hitting tough shots. We're going to let him take those tough shots.
And some of those are really tough.
The thing is, Jokic is an MVP, and he's going to hit tough shots. So, and it's hard because Jokic can hit tough shots, But you have got to limit either Jokic's tough shots, absolutely make him be a playmaker, or
It's
make him be
just
just
so
a scorer.
fascinating because Dame played better than Game 1. The rest of the Blazers did not, I must say. But Aaron Gordon's very similar points-wise. MPJ had less points than he did in Game 1. Jokic had a little more, but like it was the bench.
others.
And I'm gonna say this again, just the game flow. There was never a game flow. And that was part of it. But for Terry Stotts, I think one thing you can look at, and I really hope he does it, is if you have Dame and CJ playing iso ball, or if they're the offense, I mean Derrick Jones Jr. he's gonna have to play more. I think that's an adjustment you can make. Put Derrick Jones Jr. on Michael Porter Jr. That's more size. I think especially with Norman Powell or even CJ to an extent for defense, like CJ's defense is not good. It's just not. He makes up for it on the offensive end. But when he has a night like he did last night where he's just not shooting the volume he needs to be shooting, he's going to be a net negative on the court.
I think just in the back of Terry's head, I mean, DJJ ended up +8 on the night, the best plus-minus of the game. I mean, he played 5 minutes
of the team,
of the team. But a lot of those pluses, whatever you want to call it, was when Dame was going off. So, but DJJ still had a backdoor cut.
But that's what I'm saying. I think you can really utilize that. It's a very efficient play, like Derrick Jones Jr. cutting baseline. I know if he's in for extended stretches, he will become a liability because he will be forced to hit open threes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think in the back of his mind, he's like, we cannot have another Alfred Camino.
I get that, but I think for certain stretches that his defense is good enough to like cancel out his offense. It's the same thing because if you have Dame, Powell, DJJ, Rocco, and Nurk out there, or even Simons and Dame and DJJ, there's enough offense from the other four to where you don't really need Derrick Jones Jr. as long as he's cutting baseline and not camping in the corner. Mm-hmm. We got, I think, 4 easy points off just back cuts because we're such a 3-point shooting team. We can get in the paint with him, and it's individual. He's the best individual defender on the team, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. That's something.
That's an adjustment you think.
I think just
Terry, you hear that?
Derrick Jones Jr. should play a little more. I think the other thing is Terry just has to galvanize the troops better. He's just a little passive on the bench. I know Dame's got the fire, but last night
Pivots has the fire.
We just looked disinterested.
Yeah, I mean, again, super hard to win 2 games on the road, so still would have liked to see a little more energy. Game 3 preview. How do you see Game 3 going?
Game 3 preview.
Thursday night, 10 o'clock?
Thursday night.
Or 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 10 o'clock for the East Coast guys like ourselves. I'm expecting the Blazers to play a lot better. Not only because I think that was rock bottom for everyone but Dame. I think at home, fans, you want to talk about fans?
8K in the stands, vaccinated section.
So is that 8K plus a vaccinated section, or is that a vaccinated section plus fans, which equals 8K?
It might be a total of 8K, but certain sections of the arena will be more filled than others. So, I mean, you're going to have at least like 7K of those people first Blazer game in a year and a half. So just know Moda is going to be really, really loud.
Yeah, and I think the Blazers will ride that to a Game 3 win. I really do. I think the Blazers protect at least the first game on home court. But it's going to have to be a much better effort. I think you'll see Nurk come out more assertive. I think hopefully Terry will find a way to keep Nurk a little more out of foul trouble, because that was another game change or an adjustment that Denver made from 1 to 2, Game 1 to Game 2. Is really target Nurk, because the fall off defensively from Nurk to Kanter is massive. Mm-hmm. And if Nurk's off the floor, the Blazers defense is them just missing shots. We're not doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, Nurk is going to have to keep his cool, play good defense, play sound offense, be a playmaker. I mean, we ask a lot of Nurk, but it's because we know he is capable of it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I think CJ is going to have a much better game. I think shooting wise, I think he needs to be
a little more of a playmaker. We can't rely just on Dame to have.
I agree. Ball movement. Ball movement is very important. For Game 1, we were carving him up.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why we stemmed from that.
The role players we're going to get another performance like Game 1 from the bench. I mean, we are 4-0 at home since fans have returned. So, I mean, in some big games. San Antonio not too good, but the Denver and especially the Los Angeles game was a big game. So I mean, we play well in front of our fans. We've always had a great home court advantage.
But this is a huge. I mean, at this point, the great thing about how these best of 7 works is you split on the road. Now you're playing best of 5 with home court. You're playing best of 5 with home court. You get 3 of the next 4 games at home.
That's a good way to look at it.
You get 3 of your next 4 games. You win your home games. You are moving on. So that is our game 3 preview for the Blazers game on Thursday night. I'm very glad we get an extra day of rest. Dame needs it. He played 42 minutes. Let's go around the league. I know last podcast was Sunday afternoon, so we missed the Sunday night games, but let's talk about just in the Western Conference. So the Grizzlies. I did not watch any of that game. I actually stayed up and watched the game. Donovan Mitchell sat.
He's a little heated about that. He will be playing tomorrow night, though.
He will. Confirmed. But the Grizzlies stealing home court from the Jazz is huge. And, it took a lot because the Grizzlies played very well. Dylan Brooks had an insane game, and the Jazz shot atrociously from the three-point line. And they didn't have their star players. I still think this series max goes to 6. But the fact that Grizzlies took game 1 is fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
Shouldn't really affect us at all.
Lakers Suns.
This
is huge. This is huge because go ahead.
LeBron and Anthony Davis did not look that good, but then again, LeBron I think has lost like 6 straight game 1s to start the playoffs or something like that. So I mean,
yeah,
he likes to feel it out a little game 1.
Yeah, feel out game.
A lot
Agreed.
Differently tonight, but I mean
should be a very good game.
The Suns came to play.
And it was without Chris Paul for a while, which is very interesting. Phoenix. Here's my thing. Again, as a Blazers fan, I'm it's human nature to look ahead, even though you shouldn't. Denver is our focus. We have to beat Denver in order to move on to the next round. Denver is a team standing in our way. However, if we hypothetically beat Denver, I don't know who I would rather play because the Lakers have the 2 stars. They're gonna get the reffing from last night would be the whole Lakers series. If I'm being honest, the Lakers just get calls like that. They are the biggest market in the NBA. It's not even like a theory or like the NBA is rigged. It's just how it is with big markets. That's just how it's going to be. We saw it in the bubble last year too. I think the Suns, on the other hand, they are solid. They are a really good team. They're more complete for sure. They're young. The Blazers played them really hard at the end of the season.
I think no matter
without Ayton.
No matter what, I want to play the Suns. Like star power is so big in the playoffs, and just LeBron is so hard
Chris
to beat.
Paul is so crafty.
And if we do play the Suns, they are not going to be like full. I don't want to say like 100% because obviously they will be, but like they're going to come off a ton of energy spent in this first series.
Yeah, I could definitely see the Suns winning this series in 7. I think a game 7, that'd be a crazy game. It's a huge game tonight, though. I expect the Lakers to steal home court. I just think LeBron comes back. He's the greatest in-game adjustment man there is. But that is a good point you bring up because going series deep, we saw it with the Nuggets and Spurs. When we went to the Western Conference Finals, they went to 7. Yeah. We went to 5. We got rest. Yeah, that's tough. So I don't know. Whoever we play, I think they'll be tired.
Whoever we hope to play.
We could also go to 7, though. I mean, you never know.
Quick focus on the East real quick. I mean,
can I throw in one thing quick? The Mavericks also took game 1 from the Clippers. I think we touched on that.
We did touch on that.
I think we did. That's tonight. I expect the Clippers to win. I don't think the Mavericks can go 2-0 on them on the road.
Kind of played the perfect game other than Porzingis chucking up shots, which we did already talk about. But that's besides the point. That Hawks-Knicks game.
That's my favorite series to watch.
Best games ever. I mean, Trae Young.
There's nothing like playoff basketball in Madison Square Garden. There really isn't. And it's a must-win for the Knicks.
The last time they were really this good was like 2013, and like.
And who they have? Carmelo.
While like I was a basketball fan, I wasn't nearly as into the NBA as I am now. So like this is really my first time seeing Madison Square Garden like this.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's a fantastic series. I expect the Knicks to come back and win game 2.
I hope.
Let's do our little start bench cut segment.
All right, get us.
We'll start bench cut. So you know how it works. I give you 3 options, or you give me 3 options. You have to start one, to bench one. You have to cut one. It's kind of like you rank them. It's kind of like the F, Marry, Kill of sports.
Bench cut is.
I don't know, man. They might not. Okay, let's go with who. Do you have one to start?
I do have one to start.
You want to start.
Who do you trust the most to tie the series up? Knicks, Lakers, Clippers.
Knicks, Lakers, Clippers. Knicks, Lakers, Clippers. I will start the Clippers.
I agree with
I
that.
think the Clippers at home,
almost.
they're almost the favorite to come out of the West. Like I expect a statement game from them tonight. The other two are the Knicks and the Lakers. I'm going to bench the Knicks.
Okay.
Because they are also at home, and you cannot go down 2-0 at home. I'm going to cut the Lakers because they have the toughest opponent, and they're on the road.
Okay.
So I'll cut the Lakers. I'll go with one.
I think I agree with your list.
Start, bench, cut. Let's go with players who will have the best game 2, the most impactful game 2 for their team tonight. Yeah, no, sorry, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Yes. We'll go Dillon Brooks, Bradley Beal, Julius Randle.
Okay. Is it the best game, or is it
I think it's
the most impactful? Or like
most impactful. It doesn't necessarily going to win, but who is going to play the best?
Okay, no, I think I'm going to say Julius Randle had a really bad game 1. I don't think he does that again. I'm going to start Julius Randle.
Okay.
He needs to have a big game if the Knicks want to win. I'm going to bench, actually, Dillon Brooks because Donovan Mitchell is coming back. Dillon Brooks will have that assignment, and if Dillon Brooks can put in 20 again, I mean, he put in 31 last time. If he can put in at least 20
and hold
Donovan Mitchell to say sub 25, I mean, Grizzlies could be looking at possibly a 2-0 series lead. And I'll bench cut Bradley Beal just because, I mean, I think no matter what he does, the Wizards are still at an uphill battle.
Okay, you have any more? We'll do one more each. Let's do some Blazer ones.
Okay, we'll do a Blazer 1.
Just about the series.
I can't really think of one right now.
Okay, I'll come up with one. Who do you think in Game 3? This is just your personal opinion. Maybe it can be off past statistics, whatever. Player to have the most impactful / best Game 3 for the Blazers. We'll go with Simons, Carmelo, Norman Powell.
That's a tough one. Just because Powell has kind of been off. But I really want to say he's going to get it going again. But I'm going to start Melo. I think Melo is the most playoff tested. He's the one that understands that I'm not saying Powell's not here.
No, he is a champion.
Melo can get hot. And I do think Melo has another one of those games where he gets 15 to 18, especially in front of the crowd. I will bench Norman Powell because I still think he's super valuable to our team. It's just his ability to drive and get out in transition. I'll cut Simons. Not saying that means Simons is going to have a bad
Shout
game.
out to Simons. He's played a very good series so far.
Simon. Hopefully that lip is
the 3-point shooting's been
healed up
fantastic.
a little bit.
Any more? You good?
Okay, start, bench, cut. This is going to be kind of in a different way, but most annoying player on the Nuggets. Okay?
I like this.
You're starting the most annoying one. Facundo Campazzo. Does this have to be active players?
They can be on the bench.
I'm not going to throw Jamal Murray in because I think he was better this past game.
You still can.
Facundo Campazzo.
Right. No, that's the first one.
That is the first one. Jokic can be annoying. And then we will throw in... gotta think of this last one. I think Campazzo might be the one that's getting started here. Do I go with MPJ? Do I go with... You know what? We'll say Marcus Howard. Austin Rivers, actually.
Okay. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna cut Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers is not super annoying to me. If he was good, it'd be more annoying.
He's annoying when he hits 2 threes and kind of tries to talk smack and then just
he does. But that's
to get up 6 threes to Dame.
That's every role player.
Oh, boy.
To start, man, that's tough. I'm gonna start Jokic, and here's why.
Okay.
And I'll bench Campazzo. Jokic is super talented. That's already annoying, number one. When you have to go up against someone like that, that's just annoying. It's kind of I'm kind of hating a little bit, and I'm acknowledging that. I think Jokic, but when you're 7 feet and just huge, you get pushed by Melo and it's a flagrant, or you're embellishing almost every possession. You kind of throw the head back, kind of try to get a call. It's really annoying. And Dame does it too to an extent, but Dame also drives hard and does not get a lot of calls when he gets nailed going to the cup. So I'm going to start Jokic because of that. I think for the size he is, he really tries to embellish stuff. Now, that's not to say Campazzo doesn't flop, but Campazzo, I appreciate him because he's undersized and he plays hard and he's very he has integrity for the game. I think he is in game one he was like the ref was like that's off. That's off the Blazers. That was cool. And he was like no, it's off me. And I think they were going to change the call anyway, but I'm going to start Jokic bench Campazzo. Although that flop from Campazzo last night. Yeah.
Final question for you. This is not a start bench cut. This is just a simple question. Who do you actually respect the most on the Nuggets? Like who are you just like
respect?
Fair play. I enjoy your game. I think you play hard. For me, I don't really know, but I'm gonna say Aaron Gordon. Like I think
I like Aaron Gordon because he seems like a business first guy. He doesn't get caught up in the trash talk. He talks, but as an NBA player, you're gonna do that. Mm-hmm. I would also say Paul Millsap to an extent. He's just an old, just solid guy. He's a professional. But I mean, Campazzo, Rivers, Jokic, and PJ to an extent. This is a much less annoying team than the one we beat in 2019. I will say.
Yeah, for sure.
Just remember MPJ on the sidelines in that series. I mean, come on.
Sure.
Yeah, but the Nuggets. Yeah, I'd have to go with Millsap or Aaron Gordon for that one. I think that's it, right? That should wrap it up. Game 3 is on the Moda Center floor.
27th,
Thursday the 27th. I believe it might be on NBA TV, which would really suck.
That would actually.
Here, we're gonna get a little fact check on that for you guys.
Wow.
It is on NBA TV, which is
tough. Portland's favored by 4.
Portland is favored by 4, which is
a good line.
It's a good line.
It's a little heavy for Portland.
It's a home game. I expect the Liz to win. I don't want to ask for too much though. I just want a really good game and hopefully a W. And we will come back at you guys Friday after Game 3, and we'll talk about Game 3.
Hopefully we're happy.
Preview for Game 4. Hopefully we're up 2-1 in the series, and hopefully this Game 3 doesn't take four OTs.
But I want to be mad.
But I wouldn't be mad if it ended in a W. I agree. That's all we got from Rip City Rundown. This was episode 8, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.